All right, welcome back. This afternoon, I want to start things off by talking to you about our technology stack. And if you haven't heard about our technology stack, then I hope I can give you some motivation to really get in and check out some of these components. If you are familiar already with some of this stuff, then what I'd like to do is to really give you a more in-depth understanding of what are we doing with this stuff, where are we going with the technology stack, and what can it do for you. So the motivation for developing this stuff is that giving people access to design data from our interoperability toolkits, just giving them access to the data, it's not enough to meet member needs. We've been getting requests for all types of functionalities for the past 20 years. And so we are developing all of these components in response to strong member demand in all of these areas. It's not enough to just provide data access. We also need to provide a set of building blocks for application development, and that is what our technology stack is. So specifically, the components are Visualize, Publish, Solid Modeler, Facet Modeler, and Open Cloud. 5 components that make up the stack today. And we went to simple product names last year, so I think the general idea of these is clear. First point about them, these are professional-grade components. They're not demos, they're not example software. These are professional-grade components. We'd like to see them adopted industry-wide. So we take this development very seriously. This is a parallel development track in addition to our interoperability software. So professional-grade components, quality and performance up to the same standards that we've used for our DWG software for the past 20 years. So we have extensive automated test suite, QA team, so quality and performance are going to be there, along with what we deliver for the rest of our software. Modern architecture, we've developed most of these components within the past 5 years. I think the only exception is the Facet Modeler. So we don't have the legacy code issues that a lot of products have, where you have code that's 20 or 30 years old and nobody wants to touch it because they don't want to break something. So we don't have any legacy code issues like that. Thread safety, so that's integrated into all these products. A necessity today for working with large data sets. And everything is multi-format. So the interoperability toolkits obviously are for per format. Technology stack works with everything. So we're developing a set of building blocks that are compatible with all of our other interoperability toolkits and formats that are supported by ODA. We have the best licensing model in the industry. So an ODA membership is the best value, best licensing model in the industry. The technology stack is all included in a standard ODA membership. So all of you have access to all of this technology already. And some people question, like, how does that make sense for ODA to develop this technology and not charge extra money for it? But it actually makes a lot of sense for us for 2 reasons. One is that our mission is to serve our members. And so by developing this stuff, we're really fulfilling our mission, and we're diversifying the use of our software among our membership. A member who's using 2 or 3 or 4 of our technologies instead of just one is a more stable member for the longer term. So we're really making the membership base more stable for the long term. And the second reason this makes sense is that we're getting a lot of companies that are coming into ODA and joining us just for one of these technologies in the stack. We're getting companies that are joining just to get Visualize. We're getting companies that are just interested in our open cloud technology. So we are growing our revenue base. We're making extra money from this technology, but we're doing it in a way that doesn't put a burden on all of you. So I think for us, it's the best way to grow. So fixed fees, there's no royalties, and the other thing we offer, free technical support. It's a great deal. Our solutions are better than open source, comparable open source products. Open source is a good model for some projects, but if you're looking at developing complex CAD software, open source, it's really not an ideal situation. There's not many open source developers who are going to be able to make meaningful contributions to a 3D solid modeler or a professional grade visualization engine. So we're better than open source because we have dedicated teams that are working on all these projects. They're experienced teams, and they're working on the same product year after year. The other reason we're better than open source is technical support. You have a bug in an open source product, and what do? You fix it yourself, you pay somebody, or you pray that maybe somebody out there somewhere is going to fix it for you. So we provide free technical support for all of our products, and we definitely have a better business model than open source for this technology. The situation when you're looking at comparison with our technology with other professional products, it's a little more complicated. You have to look at the components one by one. The reasons that we developed our various components are different. They have different levels of completeness at this point. So I'm going to talk a little bit a lot actually in more detail about why we developed various products so that you can make a more informed decision about whether they make sense for you with respect to other competitive professional products on the market today. So start with Visualize. So our Visualize toolkit, very simple. We want to have the best visualization solution on the market. We want to have the best performance, best feature set, best licensing model, best technical support. Absolutely a realistic goal for an organization our size. We've got a presentation showing the latest development for Visualize here later this afternoon, and I think you'll be impressed with what we've done. We've got a lot of members adopting this technology already, and we're not expecting companies that have been using some other competing solution for the last 20 years, we're not expecting them to just go and rip out their visualization engine and put ours in the place of that, because that's not a realistic expectation. But if you're doing new product development, if you are using a competing product and you'd like to save some money, to get a good product and save some money with our solution, or if you have, we've talked to big companies that maybe they have a dozen applications that are using a half a dozen different visualization toolkits, they've acquired them over the years, and they're looking to consolidate. They're going to go in and re-architect things and consolidate around one technology, then it's worth your time to take a look at our solution in this area because it's a good one. So Visualize has very clear goals and a clear path forward. We're going to be the best. Publish. The situation with Publish is more clear. Our PDF publishing technology has been developed over the past few years in response to huge member demand. It's being used by a large number of ODA members already. If you're using some other PDF publishing technology, you're probably paying too much money. We have the best solution on the market, and you should check us out. Okay, our solid modeler is a more complicated situation. So we are not trying to develop a toolkit that's going to compete with ASYS or Parasolid or CGM. I mean, that's not at all realistic. But what we are trying to do is to develop a high-quality solid modeler that will handle anything that you need in the context of a BIM application. So working with Revit data, IFC data, it's a lightweight solid modeler specialized for BIM. And we initially started developing this because we needed this functionality to generate various types of elements in Revit. And we looked around on the market, and there isn't a solid modeler, a BIM specialized solid modeler on the market. There's a hole in the marketplace for this type of technology, so we were forced to develop this ourselves. It's not finished yet, so you'll see a presentation this afternoon that will tell you about the latest status. But what's done is good at this point, and we've got actually a customer demo as well that's showing off this new technology. If you're looking for a solid modeler in the context of just BIM applications, or you have some other limited purpose use for solid modeling, then it would be well worth your time to check this out, because this is included, as I said, in the standard ODA membership. You're skipping the royalties and the high licensing fees that you would get from any of the big three, and it's a quality solution that's going to be improved with ongoing development over the coming years. Facet Modeler. Facet Modeler has been in production use now for more than a decade. So we developed this originally to support our architecture SDK. So it's a proven solution. The new thing this year is that we separated it out. Previously, it was like an internal product that you couldn't get access to. It was just kind of working with architecture. So now it's separated out. It has its own public API. It's a separate toolkit, and it's available for use in any application. It's proven in the architecture domain. We've recently adapted it to IFC usage, as Sergey talked about this morning. Facet modeling is more of a niche market at this point, but if you Google these things and try and find one of these online and from another vendor, these things are not cheap. This is a quality product, and if you have a need for this technology, absolutely a good solution worth your consideration. And finally, Open Cloud, the last component in this stack. This is an evolution of the cloud-based technology that we've been developing for the past 5 or 6 years. And I think we finally got the naming right. We started with Tiga Cloud, and then we went to Web SDK, which less than inspiring names. Open Cloud, I think, really captures what we're trying to do here. We want to provide the best open cloud technology for developing CAD and BIM applications. There's some confusion among other vendors, I believe, in terms of what we mean by this technology. First, the technologies covered are visualization, data access, and server-side automation. So that's the 3 components that we're looking at. And when we're saying open cloud, a lot of other vendors are using the term open. I want to talk about what we mean when we say open. So our open cloud technology, it's a toolkit for developing web-based applications. It's distributed as technology. It's not a service like most other vendors are offering. It's distributed as technology. We provide an option for full source code licensing, so you can get access to all server-side, client-side code at the founding and corporate membership levels, so infinitely customizable. Licensing is open to anyone. Anyone who wants to pay our fees and follow our rules can become an ODA member. We've never turned anybody down who is willing to do those 2 things. And everybody pays the same fees at the same membership level. We treat everybody equally. So the licensing is very favorable. It is adaptable to any cloud operating system. So you have the technology, and it runs currently on Azure and on Amazon AWS. The demos this afternoon will be all running on top of Azure. So it's adaptable to other cloud operating systems as well. And it can be deployed on a private cloud or a public cloud. It's very flexible. So everything about this system is open. We have a number of ODA members who are using this technology already. The viewing portion is production ready, and people are picking this up. The rest of it is still a work in progress. You'll see in more detail from Ilya this afternoon where we are in terms of overall status. But I can tell you that I haven't met even one person who was using one of these other SaaS model services that was happy paying a fee every time they want to view a file. It doesn't scale. You go from 10 users to 100 users, and your cost goes up by a factor of 10. Nobody's happy with that kind of licensing model. So they understand our vision for open cloud, and they support the vision, and so we see huge potential for growth in this area because of dissatisfaction with current solutions in the marketplace. So I'll share a few statistics with you. These are from the 2018-2019 CAD Trends Survey. And the numbers in the circles represent the percentage of responders to this survey who are using various technologies. So you've got 69% of the respondents using 3D modeling technology. The numbers below are the change from the previous year. So that's down 9% from the previous year. And the interesting thing, I think, here is if you go over to the BIM circle, 20% increase in the number of people using BIM software in 1 year, 12% increase in collaborative design tools, which I think fair to assume that most of that's going to be web-based. There's a lot of growth in those areas at this point, and a lot of room to continue growing. Cloud-based CAD, that's primary CAD systems in the cloud, still not making much of a dent. And these numbers really agree with what we're seeing in terms of demand for cloud-based CAD solutions, and that people aren't looking to do their primary design in the cloud, but they want to build complementary systems. They want to build collaboration tools. They want to build out infrastructure around their existing design processes. So, for us, it's a challenge. So there's the desktop is not going away anytime soon, but yet there's this growing demand for cloud-based applications, and we're still a fairly small organization. And the question is, how do we support both platforms? And we're not pushing people to go and say you have to go to the cloud. We're not trying to hold you back on the desktop. Our approach is giving you the choice and trying to support users in everything that they're trying to develop. And so for us, the question is, how do we develop cloud-based technologies in a smart manner that doesn't overextend our development resources? And the way we've done that, I would say that there's 3 points that have helped us to achieve that. One is that most of our technology is cross-platform technology. We've been cross-platform since the beginning of ODA back the late 90s. So getting our technology ported over to the basic cloud platforms, very familiar task for us. The other thing that we've done, we can't afford to just reroute all of our tools for the cloud. We have to be smart about this. The other thing we've done is that we've made use of a tool called Mscripton. You can take C++ code, compile it to JavaScript, run it in a browser. And that may sound like it's not going to work, or it may not work very well, but actually we've had a lot of success with this technology. We've taken some key components of our visualization software and compiled them over, and we're able to use that in a production capacity in the browser. So we're able to get smart code reuse through some of these automation tools. And the other thing that has helped us to adapt our software over to the cloud efficiently is that we're not afraid to re-architect our systems. So we're small enough, we're agile enough that we can go in and still make major changes to our code base, and it's worth a little bit of pain in the short term to have a clean architecture for the longer term. So most of our code for cloud and other platforms is common, it's shared, and just the smallest percentage that we can do is specific. So synergy means that the combined effect is greater than the sum of the individual pieces, and I believe that we've achieved that with our cloud development. So, thank you.